Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Dear students, I'm Nadeem Khan from JK College. Today we are going to discuss the class 11th chapter number 2, atomic structure. My topic is discovery of neutron. Uh, it can also be the James Chadwick experiment which he performed in 1932. So, the James Chadwick experiment leads to the discovery of neutron in an atom. So, actually, the background was something when the scientist Rutherford and others they were trying to calculate the mass of the atom on the basis of electron and proton only. So, because only electron and proton were discovered and the neutrons were discovered very late. So, when they calculated the total mass of the electron and proton, that was very less than the total mass of the atom. For example, they compared the masses of hydrogen atom with the helium. Hydrogen has atomic mass, mass number 1, while the helium has 2. So helium must be twice more heavier than a single hydrogen. But actually, when they compared the masses of both hydrogen and helium, it was found that helium was 4 times more heavier than hydrogen. So how it was possible? So let me summarize that there were problems arised due to the calculation of the masses of atoms on the basis of just electron and proton, which were the only particles discovered at that time. Neutron was not discovered, so actually when they compared the hydrogen and helium, the greater mass of the helium than the expected was due to the presence of neutrons. So Rutherford said that there must be a particle inside the nucleus which carry no charge but is as heavier as a proton. So he predicted about the neutron, and ultimately when the James Chadwick performed the experiment in 1932, he discovered neutron. So what type of apparatus was used by the James Chadwick? Let me explain this experimental setup. He took you can say a chamber which was evacuated by adjusting the vacuum pump. So total vacuum was here, no air, no other gas molecule. So he took a polonium source. This is a radioactive source, and polonium spontaneously emits alpha particles. Actually, polonium emits alpha, beta, and gamma, all the 3 particles, but James Chadwick utilized only alpha particles, not the gamma and beta. So he just utilized the alpha particles. So I have written alpha here. Alpha particles are coming from this polonium source, which is a radioactive element. He bombarded these alpha particles over a beryllium target. Actually, he utilized beryllium, lithium, and some other elements as well. But in this experiment, we will discuss only beryllium. So he bombarded the alpha particles over the target element, which was beryllium. He observed that some particles were emitted, fast moving particles. In absence of this paraffin slope, these particles went directly and hit the detector. This is detector. This detector actually detects the charged species, charged particles. For example, proton, electron, but never the neutrons. Because neutrons are neutral, so the detector gave us no reading. This detector was enclosed in a chamber which was filled with a gas. These are the gas molecules. This is actually in your book, it is given gas filled chamber. So actually it was filled with a gas, and a detector plate was there to detect the charged particles. So some particles were ejected, and these particles were able to knock out, to shoot out protons from any material placed in their path, especially the paraffin slob. It can be, you can say, wax, candle wax. It can be a paper, it can be a plastic. So any inert material, when it is placed in path of these particles which were ejected by the beryllium, these particles were able to shoot out high speed protons, and these protons, they were the charged particles. So when they went there and strike the detector plate, detector shows some reading by the deflection of needle. So they were thinking that what these particles can be. First of all, they were thinking about the gamma radiations, but gamma radiations are composed of very small particles which are unable to shoot out the protons from wax with such a high velocity as it was. So James Chadwick concluded that the only particle which can shoot out proton from this must have a mass equal to the mass of proton but no charge. So ultimately he concluded that actually these were the neutrons, and when neutrons were ejected by the beryllium target, neutrons went and strike the paraffin slob, and in turn, by hitting these neutrons, the paraffin shooted out some protons. Actually, these positively charged particles represents the protons. Here, the N represents the neutrons. So neutrons, when they were allowed to strike the paraffin slob, they knocked out protons, and the mass of the neutron is almost equal to the, very nearly equal to the mass of the proton, and neutron carry no charge. So only I repeat my words. So James Chadwick concluded that only those particles can shoot out protons from paraffin slob or wax which have a mass equal to or comparable to the mass of proton but carry no charge. So in this way he discovered that the particles which were ejected by the beryllium target were fast moving neutrons, and these neutrons actually ejected or shooted out the protons from this wax. So in your book this has not been discussed, so but I have discussed it in order to keep this experiment clear for you. So what type of reaction actually took place here? Remember that we have discussed in our previous classes what is the alpha particle. Remember that alpha particle is a helium nucleus, and helium nucleus have 2 protons and 2 neutrons. So you know mass number is the sum of the number of proton and neutron. So the mass number is the alpha particles have 2 proton, 2 neutrons, so its mass number is 4, and as it has 2 protons, so its atomic number is 2. So He24 represents the alpha particle. This is alpha particle. This is beryllium target. Beryllium has atomic number 4, mass number 9. So when alpha particles is allowed to strike the beryllium, beryllium is converted into carbon 12, carbon 6 is the atomic number, 12 is the mass number, with the ejection of a neutron. So this here n represents the neutron. Neutron is, the number of neutrons are not counted in atomic number. Atomic number is the number of protons. So that's why neutron is atomic number 0, but it is mass number 1 because neutrons are counted in mass number, which is the sum of the number of protons and neutron. So that's why neutron has the mass number of 1 and atomic number 0. So now let me proceed towards some properties of the neutrons which are given in your book. They have mentioned, so you must open your book and come to the few points which are given with the neutrons. The free neutrons decays into a proton with the emission of an electron and neutrino. You can see the reaction is given that when a neutron decays, for example, this is a neutron. When it decays, it gives us a beta particle, which is actually electron. This is the representation of the beta particle, and neutrino. Neutrino is a subatomic particle which is recently discovered, and a proton. So a neutron upon decay produces beta particle, which is actually electron, neutrino, and a proton. So remember these particles that, for example, it can be one of your multiple choice question, that what particles were ejected when a neutron decays. So what are the particles obtained by the decay of neutron? Neutrino and electron, proton and the neutron, proton and the electron, proton and positron. So these can be the various options. So you must remember that proton, neutrino, and beta particle, which is an electron. So these are emitted by the decay of a single neutron. Similarly, the neutrons are able to ionize the gas. So here actually these are the fast moving, very highly penetrating particles, neutrons. So they can ionize the gases. They also they mentioned that they are highly penetrating particle. Yes, they can penetrate. You know that in nuclear fission reactions, for example, in atomic reaction which takes place in atomic bomb or nuclear reactor, the neutrons are able to penetrate a uranium nucleus and causes the disintegration of the uranium nucleus, and which actually the start of the nuclear reaction. So remember that neutrons are of two types. One is called fast neutrons, phase neutron. Fast neutrons are those neutrons which have energy greater than 1.2 mega electron volt, and those neutrons which have energy less than the 1 mega electron volt, they are called slow neutrons. So what are the fast neutrons? Fast neutrons are the neutrons which have energy equal to or greater than 1.2 mega electron volt. Electron volt is the unit of energy, mega is the prefix for the 10 to the power 6, and those neutrons which have energy equal to or less than 1 mega electron volt, they are called slow neutrons. And remember that slow neutrons are more effective than the fast neutrons while carrying out the nuclear reactions, for example in nuclear bomb or in nuclear reactor. So slow neutrons are actually used because they can carry out, they can start, they can initiate the nuclear fission reaction, because they can retain inside the nucleus. Otherwise, if you use the fast neutrons, they can scatter, they can deflect, so they create some problems. So slow neutrons are preferred for fission purposes. So this was clear. It must be clear that your paper may have a question: what are the slow neutrons? What are the fast neutrons? Similarly, they have mentioned that as the neutrons are the neutral particles, they carry no charge. So they are not deflected in electric or magnetic field. You know that only charged particles are deflected in electric and magnetic fields. As far as neutrons are concerned, they carry no charge. So that's why the electric field and magnetic field both have no effect over the path of the propagation of neutrons. So they are neutral in nature, so both these fields have no effect over the neutrons. They can knock out high speed protons from paraffin, water, paper and cellulose. As we have discussed here, the neutrons are able to knock out or shoot out protons from some materials like paper, cellulose, plastic, water, wax. So this is one of the property of the neutrons. Similarly, they have also written that slow neutrons are more effective than the fast ones for the fission purposes. When a neutron is used as a projectile, remember that, for example, what type of reaction takes place in atomic bomb, which is the fission reaction. Actually, they take a neutron, slow neutron, and hit the uranium nucleus. So whenever you are going to carry out some nuclear reaction, you must have to bombard some particle on the one of the nucleus. For example, uranium nucleus is targeted with by slow neutron. So the particle which actually attacks is called projectile. So in nuclear fission reaction, neutron is projectile. We call it projectile. And the nucleus is called target nucleus. So this is a term used for the neutrons as a projectile. Projectile is any particle which upon bombardment can carry out, can initiate, can start the nuclear reaction. So whenever they hit, so when neutron was allowed to hit nitrogen, remember that there is one mistake in your book. Nitrogen is written with the small n, so actually this is nitrogen 714. When this nitrogen nucleus is struck or bombarded by a neutron, we get a boron 511 plus alpha particle. So an alpha particle is emitted and the nitrogen is converted into a boron. Remember that atomic number and mass numbers at the both sides must be equal. For example, 14 plus 1, 15, and 11 plus 4, 15. 7 plus 0 equal to 7, 5 plus 2 equal to 7. So it must be a balanced nuclear reaction. Similarly, when neutron is allowed to strike, when it is allowed to strike copper atomic number 29 and mass number 65, so this isotope is taken and this copper target is struck by a neutron. What actually is what are the products obtained? Actually we get zinc plus a beta particle. Okay, so it is mass number 0. The minus 1 indicates its charge. Beta particle is actually electron. So this was about some nuclear reactions which is carried out by this neutron. And when we use these beta radiations, these beta radiations are very, very important in for the medical purposes. For example, if a patient is suffered from cancer, and you know the growth of the undesirable cells in body, just like the tumor is one of the type of cancer. So when these particles, beta particles are obtained, you can use these particles to kill those cells which causes cancer. So in radiotherapy or in radiology departments for the medical purposes, the oncologists, which are the specialists for cancer disease, they use the beta particles for the treatment of cancer. So they kill the cancer cells by bombarding with the beta particles. So this was about something about neutrons, and one of the one the neutron. What is the mass of the one neutron? It's almost equal to the mass of the protons. So on the next page of this topic, a table is given where the masses of both electron, proton, and neutron in EMU and kg, both are, all of them are compared with each other. So you must remember it because it can be one of the multiple choice in your paper. So this was all about the discovery of the neutrons, and the whole credit goes to James Chadwick. Dear students, my next topic will be the discovery of the nucleus, the Rutherford experiment. This is the same experiment which you have studied in 9th class. So I have prepared a video for 9th class, and my topic is the same, Rutherford experiment. You can check my video while visiting the 9th class, but I shall also upload this video for you at your 11th class page. So check. I shall upload the 9th class video here, and you have to check it. Again, after the Rutherford experiment, my next topic will be the Bohr atomic model and its applications. So Bohr atomic model is the same topic which you have studied in your 9th class, and the same topic is there. Nothing is added, nothing is subtracted. So I shall also upload the same video there, and so you have to watch my videos for 9th class. I shall upload it in your class, and you have to check both of these topics. Which topics? Rutherford atomic model, which leads to the discovery of nucleus, and Bohr atomic model, which was actually introduced to explain the defects in Rutherford atomic. So defects in Rutherford atomic model are not given in your book. So forget about those. Just Rutherford experiment and Bohr atomic model. And what are the applications of the Bohr atomic model? Actually, this is the applications are the radius of an orbit, energy of electron. I shall discuss it in my next video. For time being, okay. For time being, I shall say farewell and keep smiling. Thank you.